Mr. Stefano Scapin, who is the Chief Business Development Officer APAC at COBO Group. He has extensive work experience within the automotive and mobile machinery industries. He joined COBO Group in 2011, where he has been responsible for the setup and growth of the regional organization. The Asia-Pacific region now covers a significant share in the group's consolidated turnover. COBO is an Italian company founded in 1949 and a worldwide leader in design, manufacturing, and the supply of global solutions and integrated systems for the mobile machinery industry, including but not limited to agricultural machinery, construction equipment, as well as the premium segment of both the 2 and 4 wheels market. Stefano will tell us about the COBO Group experience in India during the post-COVID-19 recovery. Thank you for being with us. Stefano, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Veronica, for the introduction, and namaste to the people in India, dajao for the people in China, and buongiorno to the people in Italy, and hello to everyone from Hong Kong. So first of all, I would like to thank Carlo D'Andrea and the DP Group for the invitation. And of course, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry to hear about the situation in Shanghai and across mainland China. I know actually what it means because last year I have been traveling 3 times into mainland China, Spain. I spent about 6 months with many days in quarantine, so I know very well what it means being locked down in an apartment or in a place. So I wish this will be over very soon. And also that part of the world, this part of the world actually can go back to some kind of normality very soon, because it seems that there are other problems to handle. So I will project my screen. So yes, as you have mentioned, the presentation of today will be giving a brief background about who is COBO. An overview of the Indian construction equipment industry, thanks to the data collected by the Indian Construction Equipment Manufacturer Association, which is actually one of our major industries for COBO. And then how things have significantly changed after COVID-19. So some of the strategies that COBO has to adapt in India, but not only, but actually on a global level on some key departments. So COBO is a worldwide leader in the design, development, and supply of what we call global solution for the non-high volume vehicle market. So what someone might say, what is this non-high volume? It's a new definition. So we can say that we are not a company that is working into the mass market of the automotive, where there are actually big numbers, different logics, different liabilities. So we don't work in that mass market, but our main industries are what you can see here. So machines that are working in the fields like agricultural machines or construction equipment. But we do also work into the 2 and 4 wheeler segment, but into the premium side of those segments. So that's why we are saying non-high volume vehicle market. This is our global footprint. So we are, first of all, in spite of the dimension, still a privately owned company, which is headquartered in the province of Brescia. We do have actually 11 manufacturing plants across the globe, out of which 7 are in Italy to manage different complexity of industrial processes, and 4 are abroad, USA, Brazil, Romania, and China at the moment. And since we are a highly technical content company, which needs programming and a lot of after sales, we do have subsidiaries and branches across the globe to cover specific countries or specific regions. So we are also present with these offices in France, Germany, Australia, and Hong Kong. And then we have actually a branch office in Faridabad in New Delhi, which which is a project that we actually started 10 years ago with no people, whereas today we have actually 12 people, and we do have a strong belief of the Indian market, and we will certainly invest more to project more growth, because we know the potential of the market, and we know that it's only going to improve in terms of infrastructures, investment, and new opportunities. So just a few more things about our group. So the total turnover of 2021 was about 280 million euro consolidated, with the majority export. So we do very wide export, and we have about 4,000 active clients, which is a big number, out of which the majority is exactly vehicle manufacturers, so companies who are manufacturing machinery, small size, medium size, big size, across the main application that you see here. So as we were saying, we do work in the agriculture, so tractor, harvesters, sprayers, and any other application that is a mobile application into the agriculture, construction equipment, which is one of our major markets. So you have backhoe loader, wheel loader, excavators, graders, and so on, and cranes, material handling, municipality vehicles, and we do also the premium segment of the, let's say, 2- and 4-wheelers. So we work with premium brands for several products. So we also have a very wide, not only wide range of applications and target markets, but we also have a very wide range of in terms of product portfolio. There is of course an history and background of acquisitions in the group, which have after some years been very well integrated under the same cap, let me say. So you see here basically 6 product lines, which are becoming 7 with the introduction of power electronics, so towards electrifications. So you see here electromechanical line with lighting components, switches mainly, a mechanical line that is moving to mechatronics with seating system, steering wheels, armrest, and complete steering column kits. An electronic line where we basically manage displays, a very wide range of displays, from a very simple black and white monochromatic to a full TFT display, which is capable of 3D graphics and so on. Then we have controllers for the automation, so safety controllers for the automation of most of the vehicles that you see represented here. And we do have sensors for measuring the inclination, for instance, of booms, or the planimetry, or the length of a boom, for instance. We also have a system line that is responsible to work with the vehicle manufacturer to design the electrical schematic of the vehicles. And we have also production sites across the globe for wiring harness. So that actually is one of the approach that is defining ourselves as a global solution provider, because we start to work with the manufacturer from the definition of the electrical schematic. We design the electrical schematic, we produce the wiring harness, and then we have the opportunity to populate the electrical schematic of that specific machines with the components that you see represented here. We also have a product line for instrumentation clusters that has been dramatically improved in terms of technology and product range, thanks also to the strategic entering of COBO into the motorcycle business, because about 10 years ago we entered into the motorcycle business with the first TFT color display, which has been deployed across different brands in the industry. And then into that industry, which is the motorcycles, we have also expanded and deployed other products which are mostly custom made in that case for fuel level senders, connectivity system, lighting components, and so on. And then we have finally a connectivity line which is covering short distance connectivity, so Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So users who have to connect to the machine, close to the machine, let's say by a technical limitation in a range of 15 meters. And then a proper telematics platform, which is based on GPS, GPRS technology that is allowing rental companies or users or contractors to connect remotely to the machine to do the same thing, basically to do diagnosis, to do software upgrades, to do geofencing and all the telematics features that we can have. So you see that there are several components, but our approach towards the market is to provide solutions. So we are capable actually to make a tailor-made suit for like Italian for the vehicle manufacturer. Of course, we work with different kind of different size of the brands, some of the top brands in the industry, and with this kind of approach. Our slogan, in fact, is also the future in the tradition, in the sense that there are some video on the YouTube actually showing the very first COBO group products, which are the same product family, let me say. So lighting components, for instance, and switches for the activation of lights on and so on. So you have seen in the course of the year an evolution. So that's why the future in the tradition in terms of design, ergonomy, life cycle, and of course, technology. So that's the reason of the future in the tradition. The second section of the agenda, as I mentioned in the introduction, is thanks to some data collected from the Indian construction equipment manufacturing industry. That is talking about one, as I said, of the main industries, main target markets of COBO, that is the construction equipment. So the construction equipment in India is having a significant trend supported by the recent budget on the infrastructure that has been released. And it is a very interesting country, I must say. I have been starting to go to India, where in 2011, after joining COBO, we had no one there, no people. And I have seen great progress, and I know for sure that it will have enormous opportunities for the future. So the construction machinery market particularly is very rich of manufacturers. So there are companies who are local brands, quite big groups also, and a lot of international companies who have entered there as a wholly owned subsidiary for many years, and some of them through joint ventures. The market at the moment is the third largest in the world in terms of units. So last year they have manufactured and sold, let's say, about 92,000 units. And it is after only basically China and the US market. So some projection on the recent 2030 vision of ISEMA, which is clearly stating that they believe it will be a plus 300%. And I believe, the world is changed. In the last section, I will share some more insights, but the world is changing and the dynamics are changing very fast. So it's very difficult to predict what will happen in 7-8 years down the line. But certainly these projection can be, let me say, supported by the fact that on one side, there is effectively a boost on the infrastructure investment. And on the other side, India is also becoming an export hub. Just to give you a practical example, we have seen, since we have experts of the China market and people living in China, China has been tremendously impacted on the export to the US. Trump implemented, just to give you another specific example, Access Work platform used for maintenance or painting or construction, where having zero duties just before before Trump era. Trump came in and put 25%, so many Chinese companies still can make it sustainable. But recently, due to an anti-dumping procedure and petition, I think they have been given another 17 or 20%, which is making it unsustainable. So there are some dynamics which are changing, and I think India is certainly the right place, because also for the US, for instance, doesn't have such restrictions, such limitation at this stage. So it's the right place to produce for the local market, but as the slogan is saying, it was Make in India for India, but now is already moved forward as a Make in India for the world. As a last section, I would like to share how the dynamics in our industry, but I'm sure that most of you have seen this applicable to their own industry, which might not be construction or agriculture or industrial. So basically, we had to implement different initiatives. So we had to change our strategy in different departments. And so these three that I have listed here, supply chain, research and developments, and commercial, are just some of them. So I think before COVID, there was, let's say, the concept of relying to single source and applicable to many markets. But right now we have seen such a sharp change, and then still a very big gap between the demand and supply in different industry that doesn't allow to any company, let's say, any company to rely on a single source. So on the supply chain, I think the activities, the initiatives that many of the companies have done, including but not limited to COBO, is the diversification, of course, of the supply base and regionalization. So regionalization, which is becoming very critical. That, just to share an experience with you, what is happening in Shanghai at the moment has made some of the shipments in and out just impossible. We have goods in transit for 3.5 weeks. I'm talking about an air shipment, of course. So it's actually very important to have more sources for the same material where possible and applicable, and so have suppliers also close to you. Then, of course, it is true, and is a matter of fact, that not only for the semiconductor, but that's one of the worst impacted, I think. The lead time have just gone very mad. We had some microchips that we have been procuring that have gone to 52 weeks, so equivalent to 1 year. So we cannot satisfy the demand. So there are companies that have been making a lot of money, I think. We can call them brokers, but brokers might be a compromising word. There are actually some global independent distributors that are making billions of US dollars that are able somehow, with their exact stock management and relationship in the industry, to procure components in a much shorter way and then satisfy your needs. The problem here has been that the cost has been ridiculous, because when the semiconductor started, I think was, let me say, a bit more than 1 year ago. So it was Q1 2021. The price was progressively going up. And we were saying, okay, that is a lot of speculation. But actually, if I look back April, May, June 2021 compared to now, is of course just worsened. So this, of course, is putting us in a difficult situation, in the sense that the cost of a chip can be higher than the cost of a finished unit. That can be a display, like I showed before. So we cannot sustain it. So we have customers who are making machines, and for them the delta cost can be sustainable. So they absorb this cost without major problem, because they want to make the sales. But the serious issue is that this cost at the end will end up to the final user. So in some industry has not been possible. In our industry, it is still possible. but that's the reality basically. And one other thing that has been changed dramatically, I think, I believe all of you are familiar with the JIT, just-in-time strategy that was originated in Japan in the automotive field by Toyota, has been, let me say, changed into just-in-case. So just-in-case is having, of course, some pro and con. Just-in-time is where you have a low safety stock and an accurate planning, but just in case you have an high safety stock and it is not a data-driven, let me say, forecasting. So I think as a con is that you will have higher stock cost. So you have to be ready with the financials, cash flow, to manage excessive stock. But on the other side, it will allow you to reduce, let me say, not zero, because it's very challenging, to reduce the number of lost sales in a moment where the demand is still very high. So I think this is what has been changed majorly in terms of supply chain. And moving forward to research and development, I think also here the approach was to have a single source, single brand of component of many components. But then after COVID, actually our R&D, I shall share with you, is majorly working on introduction of compatible alternatives, which is on one side impacting on the new product development roadmap. So I think here each company has to, structure very well, not to completely shift the R&D effort into compatible alternatives, which I will say that it is still very high to fight against the shortages. So yes, a strong decision has to be taken on a part of the team working on the future, which is very, very important in this phase. And another part of the R&D, so I think, is an organizational changing, working to mitigate the risk and finding some alternatives. And so, of course, a priority shall be on the genuine innovation and lead to tomorrow's market. And on the commercial side, so they are all interpolated, they are all connected very well. I think since the lead time has certainly worsened for any components or finished product, the sales team, the commercial team has to work very closely with customers and make these transparent and agreed that it is required a longer visibility. So a longer visibility means no more stop order purchase orders, a longer period of firm purchase orders, and eventually a longer period of forecast in order to mitigate the risk on the lead time of the procurement of the components. And yeah, I think also in terms of the commercial activity, another important thing is the promotion to clients for the implementation of the alternative components and solution. I don't like much what is happening today in the automotive, where you see that some manufacturers are offering the featuring. So you go and want to buy a car and you want this feature, and they're saying, no, that's not available. So if you buy it without these, and these, they can give it to you in a shorter time. Our approach is slightly different, and I would like to share with you a more practical example. So, for instance, we have an instrument cluster, a dashboard platform, where in the past, to cover the different needs of the market, we have created one platform with a monochromatic, let's say a black and white display, and one platform with a color 3D graphics display with a video camera implementation. So what we are, and this is interchangeable actually, so we have to fine tune the software. So what we have proposed to the manufacturer, not to expose too much to the risk, is you please implement this solution and mitigate your risk, because some of the components are, of course, in shortage situation. And of course, we are keeping to innovate, and this is actually our priority. Also in India, our business model is definitely, we have a wide range of components, but our approach is certainly we cannot compete with the locals, of course, because that will be only a battle of commercial economics. So we have to work on the keep up with the technology, offering the best-in-class products, color display, electrification products, connectivity, to differentiate from the competition, basically. So I think this is all from my presentation. I just would like to share that next month we will be joining the EXCON, which is the major event in South Asia for the construction machinery. So we will have a booth in Bangalore, and our team will be there. I am planning to be there, so I will travel west after about 3 years, and hopefully I can make it. So thank you very much for the attention, and please don't hesitate to get in touch for any question in the future or a business opportunity. I will be happy to answer or address you to the right people.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stefano, for sharing with us your experience and the experience of COBO in this very weird, allow me to call it, time and new normality that we are getting to be used.